wand? Well, today on Historical Recreations, we'll be creating this today, using only a few materials found around your studio. A very easy and probably the easiest to make of all the Harry Potter wands that you will ever find on YouTube today. Are you ready to go? Let's make it. Hello everybody and welcome back to another great episode of Historical Creations. Today I'll be replicating the Elder Wand from Harry Potter. Today you'll be using a long chopstick. Now this is the longest chopstick I could find. As you can see, it comes to a nice point. It is made of bamboo. It is 13 inches. If you do your research, you will find that the Elder Wand is 15 inches. So you may want to add something onto this. However, just as a prop, I would say this is good enough. I'm using a permanent magic marker to mark off the sections. Our color choice for today is an acrylic burnt umber number 925, an acrylic titanium white 901, a rich gold number 997, and I'll be using some children's air dried clay. You can get this at any craft store or dollar store. And the last two things I'll be needing to create that is some working tools that you use for clay. Please notice that there is a little ball end on here. The divots in the wand you'll need to replicate, and a paintbrush to paint it up nicely. Alright, with that in mind, let's go. How easy this is. What I had done was I had taken our chopstick and with our black permanent magic marker marked out the segments where the wooden raised areas of the wand are. That is the tail ending, and we call that a dove shaped tail. Okay, it looks just like a funnel with a little divot in it and some arches. The next part down would be the first ball, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, and the sixth. So after you mark out the correct spacing, you can start now working your clay. We're going to start working the whole entire wand completely over in segments. What we're going to be doing is creating the tail first. Okay, I am making, as you see, I'm pushing down on the table to create the flattened area, and I'm using my hands to create a little divot. What we're going to do, we're just going to pop that right over and on the end piece. Now this must take a little bit of time to dry, but you can always just form it in place. We want to cover the tail end today in clay. Creating the tail end is very important. And I'll be using the clay with the wraparound technique. I'll show you how I'm going to do that. Okay, once you get the clay on there, you can break it and smooth it out. Very, very easily. I love using air-dried clay. The brand that I'm using is called Amos, A-M-O-S. It is made in Korea. Love it. It is something that I've admired for such a long time, and a lot of my projects use this particular clay. Yes, I'm going to be coating the whole entire wand in the clay, and you can just work it in segments. Okay, so let's do the top segment first here. That looks great. The next segment is, put that right down, we're going to be making the ball closest to the dovetail ending, which would be right about there. Boom. Very easy, and now we can just shape that into place. You can start using your tools that you have to mold and shape this in the precise look. The dovetail ending has some arches over here. We'll be adding those in a moment, but what I want to do is I want to shape this first ball. So let me shape this in place and show you what it looks like. There, that did not take very long at all. It just took a few moments. Shaped it down, made sure it was nice and smooth. Let's now put a space in here where we marked it off, and we're going to be putting in our next ball on there. And then, right after we finish this one, we're going to be using our little divot tool to start marking this up. Okay, push that together. Measuring precisely, close, right about there. Now, if you go to the Warner Brothers Studios in London, like I've been there, they do offer all of the wands. If you have kids, my daughter is 15 years old. We had gone, she was 13. And she just absolutely positively had to have a wand before we left the studio. It's very pricey to go in there, but it is worth it. We thought it was going to be a 45-minute deal in and out. We were in there for almost 6 hours and we didn't see everything. There, okay. Once you get your second ball on there, now you can start using your divot tool. You can notice that this is a fine point, this is a medium point. I'm going to use the divot tool now to start making some divots in the clay. Very, very great. It has kind of a honeycombed shape to it. And the paint is going to fall in there very, very nicely. Golf ball is what I wanted to say. A golf ball divot shape to it. Up here, we're going to be moving in and creating the arch chambers. The same tool. So let me finish this and then I will show you what it looks like when it's done. Don't be afraid to push those divots in there because the clay constantly refills itself. That's what I like about it. It's a very foamy, easy to use clay. So once we get that top part there, we got to know that the label will be going on here. We have the divots going down. The label is going to go here. And we can actually let this rest for a little bit and let this dry. There, as you can see, we are now at the halfway point. What I have done now is completed half of the wand. I will be setting this up and letting this dry and continuing on with it tomorrow so we have a nice balance. Let's check this out. It has now been 24 hours and that is hard. And we're going to start working on the rest of this. So this is coming along so easy and anybody out there can very easily make one of these. So again, we're going to be creating the ball. Okay, and we're using our tool and creating some divots just like before. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to finish this off. Properly, and I'm going to show you using the wrapping method now. See how I'm doing this? Just wrap it around. This clay works so beautifully. I'm going to finish this off and I'm going to show you what it looks like. While I'm working on this, I really need to share with you these little dome balls that are on here. They have to go down a little bit smaller, each one. But when you get to the final one, which is the smallest, I would highly recommend stopping right there. This is going to be the final one, and you're going to leave that part of your chopstick unclayed. Okay, so let's finish this and see what it's going to look like. Okay, so now that I put all the little divots in it, we're going to let this dry now, and we're going to paint this up tomorrow. Now, once our Elder Wand is dried and ready to go, we're going to be mixing up the coating that's going to go over it today. I'm using again a burnt umber number 925, a titanium 901, and a rich gold 997. I'm going to be using 2 parts of the burnt umber, and I'm going to be mixing in a little bit of the white in there just to tone that down a bit. But to give it that really nice aged look, I'm going to be adding this gold. And I always had thought this is going to be as close to there, right there. That is as close to the exact color that I had seen in the movies. So now we get to do the wand, and I'm just going to start painting it and making sure I get all of the paint in the little divots and stuff. Now once you paint half of the wand, I would highly recommend running this under a hairdryer, and then you can paint the other side lickety split, because this is acrylic and it dries really fast. Once you get your Elder Wand completely painted up and dried, it should look like this. And what's nice is that we are going to now do layer number 2. Always here at Historical Recreations we keep layering materials. So what I have over here is more burnt umber number 925 and a little bit of gold and a little bit of leftover from the previous coating, and we are just going to work a little bit more into the wood grain and the color of our wand. So very carefully just dry brush it on top, add that color over. It shows the dimples. You can see how layering up color adds so much detail. Once you get that second coating on there, that is what that's going to look like. This came out awesome, right? Oh, but wait, there's more. If you really want to age this much more than this, we're going to now go into a 999 black. Now, if you like it just the way it is, that's fine. Some people may just like it the way it is, but we want to age it one more step. Today, we're going to make a slurry with water and 999 acrylic black. Now comes the coating with some 999 black, some water, and a very soft brush. Let's create a slurry. And this slurry is going to age our wand considerably. We want to, we want to apply this on. Again, you can still use the hairdryer method to dry this off, but it's going to create a look that this has been worn and used through the centuries. And we want that black to go into all those little divots. Okay, so let's paint this up, and let's blow dry this down and see what this looks like when it's finished. You can see it in its full glory. Look at the aging. I mean, that looks awesome now. Totally surreal. Now, as you know, there is a very special label that goes on the Elder Wand with some graphic or ancient writing on it. So we're going to create that today, and we're going to add that on there. So let's do that now. What I had done was I had to go and find the design that is around the Elder Wand, and it looks like this. You also got to make sure that the two circles are facing down. So we have to put this design on this little piece of paper. Now, why is that important? Because that is the area that goes around there in circumference. I had to measure it and put it together. Now, with a steady hand, I can just use a marker and pencil it out. However, if you need to, you could always scan this and then shrink it down to size, knowing that this is the dimensions. So there are several different ways of making it. Today, I am going to test my skill of using my hand and putting it on there to make it more authentic. With a little bit of clear glue, I had put that design on there very easily, went around, and we want to age this paper. So let's make up an aging slurry. For the final piece of our Elder Wand, I'm using a little pool of water here to create a slurry, and we're going to water down a gold ochre number 609 here as best as we can. I like to use a lot of water here. And then we're going to age our paper just so. And that's all we need right there. That's looking good. Look at that. And we're going to let that dry. Our elder one is almost finished. It is, in all of its glory, a very easy and wonderful prop to make.